Hi, I am Dan, DP, Depreezy, but for the sake of this video, please just call me Dan. This is not meant to be a video of wrestling reviewing or wrestling previewing or a short thing. This is purely something different. So this is a midweek update. Midweek in that I'm recording it on a Wednesday, and it'll probably get released Friday or Saturday. The main point of this is to give you guys an insight and updates as to what is going on with the channel, with me, and various other related questions that you guys might have. It's an honest sort of update, an honest sort of video where I'm not, Depreezy. I'm purely just Dan. I'm the guy who makes the videos, I'm the guy who records the videos, and I am the guy who solely runs the channel nowadays. The reason why I'm making this video as well, and I'll get more to it later on, but it's so that, firstly something can get uploaded to the channel, because it's been a while. And that is purely on me. Like I said, I'm the sole person now on the channel anyway, so I've got no excuses on that front. It has been a while since the last upload. The last upload was probably a full-on preview of Progress Wrestling, the Manchester show, I think it was. And yeah, since then there's been only some short-form stuff done, Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube itself. That is mainly been it, because while there are things in the works, I have been feeling moments of demotivation, moments where I didn't want to do it, and moments where at points I felt about ending it as well. Not myself, the channel I mean. But yeah, this is a really hard video to make. Interesting. So the first point I want to get to is why there hasn't been any videos, any long form videos in the last couple of weeks, maybe even a month. So the first point on that is that outside of this, of what you see me here, I've got a real life job. I've got a job that I work. I work for a hospital, and a lot of the time I'm often called on call duty, so I can be called away at any moment, at any hour, and because of that I tend to run out of time to do things, or I tend to be busier than most. And that's only been a recent development of my job. Like, I'm not claiming that as a previous thing as to why I was always late or anything like that, but as of maybe half a year ago, maybe a year, I've been on call despite being administrative staff, and yeah, that's been part of it. That's the main reason, to be honest. But yeah, demotivation is another thing as well, and just being the lack of, I guess, passion to make longer form stuff, and that all did start to stem back when Great Wrestler and Fuzzy left channel. That firstly there was a sense of like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be the sole person who runs the channel. However, I tried to take that on, and while I think I was doing okay for the first few months or so, that did take its toll, and I did burn out relatively quickly. I don't know. Demotivation is the main thing, as well as obviously my IRL job, which is also taken away from the time that I would have to make these videos. But yeah, that's the main reason why. Hopefully it's coming soon, but we'll get to that. So another point that I thought about was, why is this video, why is it even needed? Why is it necessary? And why am I making it? Again, it's to give you guys an honest input and an honest sort of update on what's going on, what to expect potentially, and just generally how things are going. But on a deeper level, it's more for me as well, because I don't want to feel I've let you guys down. I don't want to feel like, pardon me, I don't want to feel like I've let anyone down by not reviewing a show or by not going to a show, etc. Right? But at the same time, it's also a lack of, again, passion to do this, and I feel like this is a necessary step to take to try and reignite that fire, to try and bring it back. I'm not saying that it's, extinguish the flame, anything like that, no. But it's something I've got to address, and it's something that I've got to acknowledge is there before I can move past it and move on with my life. So yeah, these and these are necessary because I want to make sure everything is accounted for, and I want to make sure everything is sorted before we get back to longer form stuff. So moving on to a more positive note as well. It's not been all doom and gloom. It might seem that way, but it's not been all doom and gloom. Most of the time I distract myself with games or roleplay, not that kind of roleplay servers, to just take the edge off a little bit and, sort of pretend I'm someone else for a bit. But saying that, there are projects on the way that have been worked on and are going to be releasing fairly soon. One of which is something that I've alluded to in the past couple of months, the Ricardo Borg studio interview. It was done, it was recorded, everything went well, I think. It's just a case of me sitting down and getting time to edit the thing, because it is a massive undertaking. More than I accounted for. The second thing is also another studio interview with Champagne Charlie, which is also coming relatively soon, I would say. Within the next few weeks, I'd say. And those two are the only two that I've done so far. There's a third one planned that I've had to push back on. They already know, so that's fine. But that's been pushed back on, and I've got a fourth potentially arranged as well. But again, no set date for that one either. So, 2 interviews at the moment, and also something that people might not be aware of because it was such a long time ago. Back in February 2024, myself, Frozzy, Rate Wrestle, and Muzza, who is now a Pro 2 Wrestling Academy trainee, we all took part, I hosted, they took part in a edition of Jeopardy, where I asked the questions, there's a board and questions and all that stuff. That hopefully is also coming out in the next few weeks. Editing has begun on that, and most of it has been done. I've got to make a few tweaks and revisions and stuff like that, but other than that, it's okay. And besides that as well, there's also some short form stuff as well that I've got filmed but not edited. I've got a couple of interviews that I've done with Another Lockhart, Danny Black, Alex Connors, and Danny James of DPW. I also want to get up to a different aspect as well. I mentioned before the reason why I made or wanted to make this video was because a friend of mine, Frozzy, undergoing a big life change at the moment, but he left a Discord server that was run by myself. It was the podcast Discord server. And it made me think, because if he's leaving and he's one of the OG people of the server, of the podcast, is it worth running still at this point if people like that are leaving? And in all honesty, I have not had the energy to uprun it, to upkeep it, and it's barely used by anyone anyway. So, officially, as of this video, I will be shutting down the HW Discord server. I feel it's a needed step, and also a chance for people to spread their wings elsewhere. Some people have server blockage, and removing mine from your list will help you and ultimately help me. So yeah, officially, as of this video, I'm shutting down the Discord server. And now for a relatively big thing. This month has proven to be a costly one. Without going into too much detail, I have had to undergo a lot of financial costs that were not expected. And because of that, I am severely unable to justify paying for things like wrestling tickets. So, with that in mind, I only have one show booked in October that I'm attending, and other than that, I can't do anything in October. Which sucks because I wanted to do things, but it is the way it goes sometimes, and hopefully in November I'm back to it again, but October there's just too much stuff coming up that I can't ignore. So with that in mind, I'm also saying here I'm not going to be attending any wrestling shows during the month of October besides the one that I've already got booked. So again, apologies to any promoters who watched this who thought I was going to be there to do a review of that show. It's just, yeah, it's not on the cards right now. But actually, speaking of other companies as well, I am going to go back through my notes. I've got notes taken, and I'm going to start working again on reviews of older shows that I have not done yet. So there's a bunch of DKW ones I've not done. There's there's a Catch-22 show. There is a UPW show, a UKPW show. I might have missed something, but I don't think I have. But yeah, I'm going to get around to those again and upload those when I get a channel as well. And yeah, we'll see how things go from there. But fingers crossed and all that. But hopefully, with a month away from doing wrestling shows and wrestling content, I might be able to actually focus on editing stuff and getting more stuff out for you guys to actually enjoy and watch. Or don't enjoy and watch. Or don't enjoy and don't watch. But either way, I'm putting it out there. With that in mind, that's everything for this section of it. I'll pass over to myself in the chat. Thanks, me. So, as you can see here, we have the channel content for the channel itself on the shorts category. So we've gone to the videos here. You can see the most recently uploaded video was on the 13th of July. So that's actually a lot further than what I thought it was. So that's been over 2 months since there's been a last longer form video. And to be fair to that one, that was an hour and a half long. So that was a long video, so maybe there was something to that. I don't know. Before that was WrestleConnect 2.0, episode 3, which featured, if I'm correct, it was... who was it? It was... Wait a minute, let me work on it. Oh, that's right, it was the Canadian one with Barry Wrestling's Van Landen and Grizzly Mac, who were absolutely great guests to have on as well, and would love to go ahead and do it again with those guys or other people from Barry Wrestling or from the Canadian scene. That was a really fun episode. But yeah, so progress preview there we had review, sorry, not preview, and that went okay. I don't know if we're going to go back to doing reviews of progress themselves, because the whole point of this channel was to put a more spotlight on the lower, or the guys who aren't in the spotlight so much, which is very much a Rev Pro, a Progress, WXW, who else is there? OTT, like them companies. But yeah, that's the main thinking anyway for now. In regards to WrestleConnect, I want to do more of those. I've been in talks with Alex. It's just there's currently an integral part of that equation that's missing. So with that in mind, we can't go ahead until that part or that component has been fixed. But we're hoping that it'll come by sooner rather than later.
Before that was a couple of shorts that for some reason didn't upload, because I think that I filmed them in a horizontal form rather than vertical. So they automatically went as normal videos on YouTube instead of the shorts. But they are part of my 3-minute or less preview series, which is something that I started doing a little bit back as a way to promote shows that I'm attending. I ain't just doing shows that are happening. I'm doing the ones that I actually attend. Again, progress was just because I was attending it. It wasn't because I felt they needed it or anything like that, but you never know. As you can see, that did quite poorly. 7 views, so very poorly. Probably won't do that one again. A preview for DKW Showdown. Again, I might as well call it the wrong way around, so it came out that way. The preview as well for Progress. I want to do more previews, like actual sit-down previews as well. To just get more of a hindsight into some of the shows and talk to people from the shows themselves to discuss certain things that are related to that thing. After that, of course, we've got a couple more reviews. So Brawling, Westcliff, Southland, The Calling, and Fallout from last year. These were quite a way back. They're about a year back, if not more now. So yeah, the idea is to catch up on myself for DKW. The upcoming one is for October last year, so that will be Revelation and Stronger Things 3. Those will be the October shows. November was November Pain and Survival. And then we also had the December show, Space Jam. And then that will end off the 2024 arc of DKW. But yeah, I'm hoping to catch up on DKW stuff, but also I want to catch up on stuff that I have not fully caught up with yet. So again, shows that I've been to over the last year and just haven't, I've got notes on the phone, but nothing tangible in a video form. Again, WrestleConnect, and then before that was the channel update where I said I'm going to stop doing NXT reviews, which is, as you can see, the thing that I did mostly. Yeah, Show Squared was fun. It was fine when it lasted, and it's just something that I like. The way that the company is run, WWE, I mean, it's not something that I can sit by and abide with, and it's just not something that while I enjoy NXT, and I say enjoyed NXT for the most part, it's just something that I'm not comfortable covering anymore. That's WWE stuff. AEW I might get back into. I don't know. It's just because I don't like the idea of doing a weekly show. Because that's again, there's a lot of work to it. You got to edit it. You got to record it. You got to do the edit. You got to do the adjustments and stuff like that. It's just not something that I'm particularly interested in doing right now because I lack the time that I'm free to do that sort of stuff. But yeah, before that was a couple more reviews or previews. As you see here, we had a review of Catch-22's Ready or Not. There it is. That's there, and then Kumite Enter the Double Dragon, which was done by myself and Rate Wrestle actually. And again, DKW's review here, and yeah, more NXT Show Squared. A 24 hours removed thing that I tried. 24 hours removed could work, I don't know. It works, I think, typically for like the mainstream stuff, but saying that, you got 8 views. I can't show you on the screen, wait a minute. Can I do that? Ah, there we go, that works. Put that there. That's better, cool. So yeah, Royal Rumble, 24 hours removed. Again, didn't do that well, so I'm a little hesitant on that. But with that in mind, let's go look at the shorts real quickly. We have basically, these are the 3-minute previews or the interviews. They all seem to do fairly well, I'd say. Like, there's me doing the one for Headstrong. I'd say that's Headstrong, and then that one I didn't change the title of. I'm an idiot. But I did change everything else there, so everything on the description is fine. It's just that one bit that I didn't change. Oh, I'm an idiot. But besides that, Victory Pro Wrestling, Headstrong at their debut show, UBW's top anniversary show. We had DKW Loaded, DKW Brawling 2. We had interviews with DKW wrestlers like the protege Vicky Two Thumbs, and also the current DKW Tag Team Champions Black and Gold, Denzel Mack and Lincoln Spector. Bring Me Pro Wrestling's Pick Your Poison 2. We had an interview with Jaden, who is the current DKW Showcase Champion. And Lippers Pro Wrestling for their debut show, Creation. Progress again, Catch 22, and then some clips from a Progress review. Shorts, I want to keep going. Shorts are something that I feel are so vital and so pivotal to everything that is done. It's just finding the right content that, you know, clicks and works with you guys. It's all about, you know, interaction and engagement, and that's something I want to build and focus on and work more towards. It's just something that I'm struggling with. But I have noticed before, there's this little inspiration tab thing here. So you press inspiration, right? It will use AI to figure out what you should be making, right? Based on, I think, like big trends and stuff like that. So the things it suggests, we have Beyond WrestleMania 3, Hidden Showcase Mode Gems. No idea what that means. Future Stars of UK Independent Wrestling. See, that's a pretty good idea if I was to do something like that. Who I think are like the top things or whatever, you know. Shocking Pink Stuff, unveiling RGX's mystery drink. For those who aren't aware, RGX was the original owner of this channel. You know, back in the heyday. But yeah, he stepped away from it all. Then Ray took over, and then Ray and Fronty stepped away, leaving it just to me, as I did not want to step away from the channel. Because if I had, this channel would have been deleted essentially, or cancelled, or whatever. But yeah, I want to stick with it and create content, and I have done that. It's just things have dried up a little bit over the last few months. Untold stories behind classic indie matches. I don't know how we'd get that. And your event of the year, fan voted wrestling spectacles. That would be good, but I would need you guys to interact to get that sort of thing going. But of course, I don't want to cover mainstream stuff, so it'd be like, hey guys, DKW show of the year, but then you guys wouldn't know because most of you don't watch DKW, or most of you probably won't be aware of it. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. But yeah, this one's not bad though. Future Stars of Independent Wrestling, with a great thumbnail, as you can see there. That's brilliant. But there's like related videos as well. That's pretty cool, actually. On the screen, just there. Like Taylor York and Zyra, Future Stars of Women's Wrestling, Cruel Summer, Fallon Gray and SOS, Future Stars of Women's Wrestling full match. Like, it's not a bad idea. Absolutely not. I just don't know who they are. But yeah, maybe that could be a thing. Maybe it could be a thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's been the channel content side of things. I have been... Well, first let me do this. There we go. I have been Dan, DP the Breezy, and I will bid you adieu. Hopefully this will be a once a month sort of thing where I just sit back, look at things, and decide, you know. But actually, before we go, let's take a look at some of the questions that were submitted. Ready? So yeah, Peter Miller is a wrestler who wrestles for DKW, and he is someone who, he and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and he and I have had a face-to-face interaction that I'll put a picture up somewhere on the screen. Yeah, we've had a face-to-face interaction that got really tense, and but we didn't. No, I'm joking. No, Peter is a sound guy. I wouldn't say he's my favorite wrestler. Sorry, Peter. But he's definitely up there for like people who are improving and people who I genuinely quite like as a person and as a wrestler, but just not someone who I consider the best of the best. Yeah, Peter's sound guy, absolute sound guy. But yeah, and that was the only question that I was asked. Hopefully for the next one we might get some more varied questions that aren't just Peter Miller related. But who knows? Anyway, until next time, I've been Dan DP Dupreezy, wishing you the best. Goodbye.